How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, I'm a coder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And as always, if you guys don't want access to this private repository, there's a link in the description down below that'll walk you through exactly how to get to that. I also want to go ahead and mention that I tried setting up some audio settings or changing some audio settings. So hopefully if things are a little bit scuffed or whatever, I'll notice it whenever I'm editing this immediately and I'll go ahead and fix it up. But basically, I'm really tired of hearing myself breathe in after every long sentence or whatever. And I'm sure you guys are tired of listening to it too. Whenever I'm just talking, it's really easy to edit out, but whenever I'm typing and stuff, it gets a lot harder to edit out. So I went ahead and tried to change some audio settings in OBS when recording. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I've got to breathe. I don't know what else to do. I mean, I can try to teach myself to breathe through my nose whenever I'm like talking or whatever, but I don't know. I guess I'm just a mouth breather when I'm talking. But anyway, that's all I wanted to go ahead and mention. And what we're going to be working on today is we're going to get it so that we can finally be able to click on our emojis here, have it pop up over here, add an emoji to a message, and then show it down here. And we're also going to go ahead and get images showing up as well. So with that being said, let's go and hop into the code and get to work here. So to start out today, we're going to start out inside of our favorite Redux slice, the modal slice, and we're going to go ahead and start underneath our display message gif, and it's going to be display message emoji. And then this is going to be a Boolean. I have a feeling next episode we're going to add in even more in here, so that's going to be fun. Below here we'll say display message emoji, maybe. And of course, we'll start out as false. And then we need to go ahead and update our state here. Looking back at it, this should probably be one big method that kind of just watches what type of state it is, but it is what it is. So let's come down here, and below here, we'll go ahead and say update. And then this will be display message emoji. And then this will just take in state. And this is just going to be switch again. So state is equal to, and then dot state. And then we'll say display message emoji, and then this will be equal to not state dot display message emoji, and then we'll go ahead and return the state. Return state. And then down here, let's go ahead and export this. So go ahead and say update display message emoji. So that part is good to go. Now we need to go ahead and update our emoji dropdown component to be able to work outside of just posts. Let's hop in there. So inside of our emoji dropdown, the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and say interface, and then we're going to have our emoji, maybe drop down, and then props. Here, this is going to have a location, which is a string, and it's also going to have a handle click, which will be optional, and this is going to be a void function, which takes in an emoji string, and then like I said, it's going to be void. So that looks good to go. And now let's go ahead and bring that in here. So here we'll go ahead and have our emoji drop down props. We'll also go ahead and break them apart here. So we'll have our location, and we'll have our handle, handle click. And then this is where things are going to be a little bit technical and yucky. So let's go ahead and scroll down. It says about line 159. So let's see how accurate this is. We need to update basically handling whenever it's clicked. So 159. Yep, so here we are. So in here below where we have our emoji and all of that stuff, we're going to go ahead and make an if statement. I can go ahead and say if we have a handle click, we're going to go ahead and say handle click, and we're going to pass in that emoji. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and wrap all of this stuff here inside the else, I believe. So let me just double check all of this. So we're just actually going to take all of this right here, and we're going to go ahead and paste that in the else, like so. Go ahead and format to look pretty, and there we go. And then we'll go ahead and do all of this stuff no matter what. We just basically want to append it either to the message, which we'll pass in here, or we'll go ahead and append it to the post or the reply. And here we might have to break it down even more a little bit later on whenever we deal with reactions. So that might be fun. We'll see how that goes. So now we need to go ahead and come down to about line 229 again. I don't know how accurate this is going to be. It's going to be where we have our emoji drop down. So here, and now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to make this a curly brace here, and go ahead and make this a curly brace. Go ahead and use backticks and use backticks like that. Okay, so now we're going to have this, and then we're going to go ahead and say $ curly brace, and then location is equal to post, and then question mark. If that's the case, we're going to go ahead and have a couple of different options here. So if it's equal to post, we're going to have emoji dash drop, dash down dash post. Otherwise, we're going to have emoji dash drop dash down dash message. So this is going to go ahead and locate it in different positions for us. And that's all we actually need to do in here to get this to work. Now what we want to go ahead and do is hop into the CSS and make it so that we can locate it or put it in different locations basically. Let's hop into the CSS. So now inside the CSS, we need to go ahead and make a couple of changes. So there should be a place where it's like, I don't know if it's this one where it's like top and left. I think it is. We're going to go ahead and delete the top and left out of here. And what we're going to go ahead and do is going to say dot emoji dash and then drop down dash post. And here we're going to have top 100%. We're going to have left 32px. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is going to say dot emoji dash drop dash down dash this one should be message. And then in here we're going to have bottom of 60px and we're going to have right of 160px. So now if we are inside the create post, it's going to be at the top. If it's in the drop down message, it's going to be on the bottom and then right. That's everything we need to do here. Obviously we won't be able to see anything yet because we actually need to be able to open it up. Let's go ahead and do a couple things. So firstly, we need to go and update everywhere we're actually using the emoji dropdown right now because we have an error, and then we can go back into our create message modal and get that working. So first, let's hop into feed post creator and fix this broken dropdown. So if we scroll down here, we should be able to see that there is an emoji dropdown that has an error because we need to pass in the location. So here we're going to go ahead and pass in the location. Location is equal to post. And let me actually delete this extra space here. I guess it was an extra space, so it just looked weird. And then we need to do the same thing inside of our create reply bottom. So let's hop into there. So inside of our create reply bottom, let's scroll until we see where our emoji dropdown is. This is again going to be post. Now I could have done this one as like reply or something and kind of did different tiers and stuff, but it is what it is. I'm just going to go ahead and put location equal to post on this one as well. And then there's one more in homepage, which I don't think we're using, but I'm going to update it just so we don't break things and mess up the flow of the episode. So let's hop into the homepage really quick. And down here, like I said, I don't think this is being used anymore because technically we use the layout page now. But I'm going to go ahead and put in location post here. That way it's not broken and we can continue working. Now we can actually hop into the create message bar and add in the work to make it so that we can pop up the emojis and add them to messages. So inside the create message bar, we need to set up some state. So I'm going to go ahead and below our message gif, I'm going to add in the display message emoji. So const display message emoji is equal to use selector. And then in here, we'll have our state root states, and we'll go ahead and say state dot modal dot display message emoji. So we'll go ahead and bring in that state. That looks good. And then we need to go ahead and come down a little ways and just set up a function to handle adding in that emoji. So let's just scroll down to the bottom here above where we have any. I'm going to put it above send a message because it's before we send a message. So this will be const handle emoji and equal to, and we'll have an emoji string and just make an arrow function. So here we'll say set message content. Let me make sure I type it right. We'll go ahead and have the content like so. Set up an arrow function here, and then here we'll say return content plus the emoji because the emoji shows a string, so it's concatenated. We'll also go ahead and set up the value inside of our ref. So text area ref and text area ref dot current. We don't want these two out of sync because then it won't line up properly. So we're going to say text area ref dot current dot value is equal to message content plus emoji. So it probably won't have that emoji in there yet, so that should be safe. If we want to, we could probably say text area.current.value plus emoji, but it's not that big of a deal. So now we need to go ahead and do one more function. So const and then display emoji, so we can actually go ahead and open this guy up. So here we'll go ahead and dispatch, and we'll go ahead and dispatch update display. If I could type message emoji. And that is that. It didn't actually import, so let me go ahead and import it. There we go. That looks good. So now we can actually open it. And now we get to the fun part of actually updating stuff. So it says to go to about line 188. We'll see how accurate that is. Let's scroll down here to where our actual HTML is. And this is the part that's not very fun. And I also forgot to add in, or actually I guess I didn't forget to add in the on click. We just need to go down to where the emoji is. And basically what we're going to go ahead and do is here, we're going to go ahead and say display message emoji, like so. And whoops, if I could type, and then we're gonna have our emoji drop down like so. And then we're gonna say location is gonna be equal to message, and then our handle click, we're gonna override the default functionality is gonna be handle emoji. And let me make sure I don't break this. There we go. So now this should be, whoops, I messed this up. This should be message inside of quotation marks. So now if it is true, we'll go ahead and deal with that. I don't know why location's being mad. There we go. And then we need to add on click to this guy. The on click is going to be equal to, and this is going to be display emoji. So far this has been pretty straightforward and looking pretty good. Now hopefully everything works, otherwise we're going to be debugging, but we are making pretty good time here. I was debating on whether or not to just only put emojis in this episode, if it's going to be too long or not. So I think it's looking pretty good. Let's go and hop into our front end and see if we can actually get this working, or if I'm going to have to debug this. So let's just give it a refresh to make sure all of our code changes are in there. Let's go and open up our messages once it's done loading. There we go. Go into Rick. So hopefully you can see we have our emojis. If we go ahead and put in a smiley face, it adds in the smiley face. We can say testing out emojis. Whoops. Looks pretty good. Hit enter. I guess we have to hit this. I guess enter doesn't work. We have to actually do this. And it looks like there might be an issue that I didn't know about. If you click on send, I'm wondering if there's like a, I don't know what's going on with that, but interesting. But you can see it's working, but this obviously doesn't look like the right thing. I don't know why whenever you click anywhere, it's not quite working. So let me just double check what happened here. So on click is display emoji. Is it because that whole area? So let's just try to add one thing here. This is interesting. I don't know why this is happening. I wonder if I know what's going on. Actually, we'll fix this in a second. This is an issue with the layout page. Whenever you click outside of something, it's opening and closing stuff, I believe. So we'll fix that in a little bit, I think. But with that being said, let's go ahead and continue working. And then if it isn't fixed at the end, we'll fix it. But it is adding emojis, and that's what I was worried about. So next we need to go ahead and make it so that whenever we see the emojis inside of here, let's get rid of this for a sec. I really don't know why it's doing this, but whenever we see this, we want this to be correct. It's not quite the right thing. We also want to be able to see the correct thing whenever we look at the messages here. That's not the correct emoji. So that's what we're going to do next. Let's go and hop into the code and get that working. So we need to go ahead and hop into the emoji utils, and inside the emoji utils, let's go ahead and come down to the bottom here. So we're going to actually just go and update this. So we're going to go ahead and use this convert elements to message text. And here we're going to go ahead and pass in a location of string once again. And then we're going to go ahead and come down to about 286. So here, so now we're going to go ahead and instead of just saying message text, we're going to go ahead and have a location equal to, and we're going to say create. So if it's create, it'll be message text. Otherwise, we're going to have, whoops, message dash container dash text, and this should help us out. We obviously need to use this still, but this will help us out in a second. So now let's hop into our create message bar and use this. So there's probably going to be a place where it's broken. So let's scroll up here to the top where it is broken. So here, let's go ahead and add in create like so, and that should fix that issue. And then we need to go ahead and actually update the message container to display this. So let's hop into message container. Now inside of our message container, we're going to go ahead and say const text content is equal to this, and this is going to basically be a copy paste from our other components, and this is going to go ahead and return a jsx.element, and this is an array actually. I think we're going to say let, and then whoops, post content. Shouldn't be post content, it is what it is, but this is going to be convert, and this is going to be post content to elements, and we're going to go ahead and say message.message text, whoops, and then this is going to be post, and then we're going to have let message elements equal to convert, and this is going to be elements to message text if I could type, and then this is going to be post content, and this is going to be container instead of create, and we'll go ahead and return the message elements like so. So that looks good. I don't know why this is mad. JSX.element array. Okay, it's fine now. And now we actually need to use this. So let's come down here to basically where the message text is. Instead of saying message text, we're going to actually go ahead and say text content and then call that function. And we need to do the same thing. We need to come down here and do it again. So here, this is going to be text content, and call it. So go ahead and update how we are displaying the emojis, and then we just need to go ahead and display the emojis properly with like the right size and everything. So let's hop into CSS to do that. So now what we need to go ahead and do is we need to make a new CSS. So if we go down to line 35, we're going to add to the message. Actually, we're going to go ahead and say display flex. We're going to go ahead and say justify content, and this is going to be center. We're going to align items, align items in the center, and we're going to go ahead and have a small gap of about 2px to go ahead and offset stuff. So that should be good. So now let's go ahead and just take a peek to make sure this is looking okay, and then we need to go ahead and deal with the conversation card showing it correctly, and then I might need to debug to figure out why the heck it's acting weird with clicking on stuff. But let's just go ahead and check this out first. So now if we click in here, if I can get rid of the emojis, that looks good. It's looking like it's supposed to. I don't know why when we click off it opens this back up. I think we are calling display every time we click off of it, which I think is an issue inside of, I don't know where. It might be an issue inside of the layout page or something. I'll look into it. I don't think this was happening before, so I might need to debug a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and continue working because we do update the layout page here in a coming step. So maybe that'll fix it. If not, I'll do some debugging and get it fixed. So with that being said, let's hop back into the code again. And the other thing that I wanted to do is let me refresh if I can get out of this really quick. You can see here, this is also like a default emoji. We want this to look correct as well. So we need to hop into our preview and get that fixed. So let's hop into the code and get that fixed. I just set a world record for saying fixed in a row. So that's fun. So I'm going to go ahead and come over here. We're going to do something similar again. Const text content is equal to this, and do one of these guys. And this is going to be, once again, a JSX.element array, and this is basically the same exact code we just wrote. It's just a little bit different. We're going to say const conversation message.length greater than 0 question mark. I'm hoping conversation exists. It should. I'm going to say conversation message, and then conversation message.length -1 dot message text. Otherwise it's just going to be conversation created. So if there's a message, we'll go ahead and grab it. If not, we won't. And let's see what's going on here. Conversation and conversation message. And really, this got stolen from down here somewhere. So let's just copy paste if it's not going to work. At least I thought it got stolen from down here. Let's see. I'm not seeing it now. Interesting. Here it is. Let's see why this isn't working. Let's grab this code. Let's delete it out of there. And let's try pasting it over this. And let's see what's going on with this guy. Oh, it's probably because we need to go ahead and say message is equal to this. And I'm just dumb. Yep, I'm just dumb. Okay, that looks fine. I just wasted a bunch of time because I don't know how to type what's new, but there we go. So then we'll grab that message, and then we can go ahead and do the same thing where we say let post content equal to convert post content elements, and here we'll have our message and post, and we'll say let our message elements equal to convert elements to message text, and again we'll have post content, and this will be conversation, which is slightly different as well, but as long as it's not create, it won't break anything. That's fine. Go ahead and return message elements like so. There we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and come down here to where we just deleted all that stuff. So right here we have our card content, and inside here we'll go ahead and say text and content and call that function like so. And then we do need to go ahead and update the CSS slightly. So let's hop into the CSS of this component. And now we need to come down to about line 69. So here for our content, once again, we're going to have here we add a font weight of 400 because it's slightly too big. We're going to have a display flex. We'll have a justify content in the center. We'll have an align items. Whoops, maybe. In the center, and then we'll have a small gap of about 2px. So that should go ahead and fix up that preview for us. So let's go and check that out. So now that looks good, although it does look slightly thick again. I don't know why, but I'm gonna trust the process. That should be what it looks like, I'm pretty sure. So that's good. Now finally, let's hop into the layout page and see if we can get that weird emoji thing to fix. So now inside the layout page, we're gonna go ahead and come in here, and we're gonna set up a display message emojis. So const display message emojis is equal to use selector, and then this will be state. Whoops, let me go ahead and do it like this: state root state, and then go ahead and return state dot modal dot display message emoji. So it looks good. And then we're gonna go ahead and basically come down here where we have all of this stuff. So we're gonna say if our display and message emojis, then we'll go ahead and dispatch, and we'll dispatch update display message emoji, like so. So if that's true, we'll go ahead and get rid of that. Now, I don't know if this is still gonna be broken. Let's just take a look really quick. So let's give it a nice refresh, try to refresh the cache and everything. Open this up, click on this. So right now it's not broken, but if we open this and then close it, if we click on this, yep. So it was just being a little bit weird. We weren't actually ever closing out of it. It was just like getting hidden basically. So that's what was wrong with that. That's exactly what I thought. Now, the last thing I want to do in this episode is going ahead and setting up the conversation image. Now, this is going to be, I know we already have a conversation image or like a message image, but I want to be able to go ahead and attach it whenever we like send this. We want to be able to view it. So like if we say testing images and go ahead and grab one of our thumbnails here. Let's just grab this thumbnail. And if we send, whenever we send it, you don't actually see the image. Let's go ahead and try to get that done relatively quickly here. I don't think it should take too long. It's not too many lines of code. It would have been too short for its own episode, and I think this probably would have been a little bit too short for its own episode, so I want to kind of put them together. We'll see, maybe after editing and recording it's a little bit too long, and I'll try to piece together the image in the next episode, but we'll see here. Without that rambling, let's go and hop into the code and get to work here. So we're quickly going to go ahead and open up our Explorer. Let's go and get rid of this and this. Let's go into our features and messaging components, hit A, and we're gonna go ahead and say message conversation image, and then message conversation image.tsx. Let's go ahead and make a message conversation image.css. So this is going to be close to the same, but also slightly different. So to our other image, so import React from React. Let's also import our dot slash, I already forgot what I called it, message conversation. And I put a double A conversation image.css, export const, and then message conversation image. So React.fc, and this is just going to take in a message. So message, make sure we get message from our global interfaces. And then we're going to go ahead and break out the message and do one of these. So now the first thing I'm going to do is say const message image is equal to message. We're just going to go ahead and break that out. And then let's go ahead and set up our CSS really quick. So return, the CSS should be pretty simple. Div with a class name equal to message dash conversation dash image. And then the style is going to be equal to, and we'll do our background. So background, and this is going to be, backticks URL. And we're going to set up a function here. So this will be $ and curly brace, $ curly brace, background link, call that a function. And then here we'll have an on click equal to, and then we'll set up the on click in a second. This will be called play pause. Play pause, if I could type. Okay, so now let's go ahead and set up some stuff here. I just wanted to get some of the preliminary stuff done. So now we'll go ahead and set up a const, and we're gonna check to see if it is a GIF, is GIF, is GIF, and set is GIF equal to use state And here, this will be a Boolean, and we're going to set up a callback function. So in here, we're going to make an arrow function. And what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to say let message image split. We're going to split apart the message image. So equal to message image dot split by dot, whoops, like so. And then we're going to go say let extension equal to message image split of message image split dot length, whoops, dot length -1. We want to get the last part, and we're going to say return extension equal to gif. We'll also check for uppercase. I don't know why it'd ever be uppercase, but you never know. Or extension equal to uppercase gif, like so. So we're going to go ahead and check to see if it is a gif, and I spelled extension wrong, it seems like. Extension. I don't even know if that's how you spell extension. Probably not. Let's see. I think I probably spelled it wrong. Yeah, I spelled it wrong here. So let's fix it here and fix it here. There we go. Now we can check to see if it's a GIF. Let's also go ahead and return that guy. Next, let's go ahead and set up a const, another one, const, and play GIF and set play GIF. This will also be a use state of a Boolean, and we'll set this to false to start out. And then we'll also go ahead and say const image ref is equal to use ref of an HTML image element. So like I said, this is going to be very similar to our other one, but it's going to be slightly different as well. Canvas ref is equal to use ref. This could be an HTML and then canvas element, and we'll set this as null as well. So there we go. And then we'll say const background link, like a type. So here was going to do an arrow function, and this is going to say if not play GIF and is GIF. Then we're going to go ahead and return an empty string, so we don't want anything. Otherwise, we'll return our message image that we broke apart up above. And then we also need to go ahead and deal with play pause and freeze GIF. So freeze GIF is going to be slightly different. So I'm going to say const freeze GIF is equal to, we'll go one of these like that. And then here we'll say if our canvas ref and our canvas ref dot current and our image ref and our image, whoops, ref dot current. So check for all that stuff as always. We're going to set a const height equal to 155. We're going to set a const width equal to 275. And then we're going to go ahead and say canvas ref dot current dot height, whoops, maybe like a type is equal to 1. Actually, we'll say height, and then canvas ref dot current dot width is equal to width. Might as well use what we have. We'll say const context is equal to canvas ref dot current dot get context, and this will be the 2D context. Okay, then we'll go ahead and check to see if our context is not equal to null. We'll go ahead and do the rest of the work. So we're going to say let scale equal to math.min, and then here we're going to say width divided by image ref dot current dot width, comma, height divided by image ref dot current dot height. So basically we're going to see which one is smaller, and then we're going to go ahead and say let w, whoops, let w equal to math dot round. We're going to go ahead and say image ref dot current dot this one's width times scale. We're going to say let h equal to math dot round image ref dot current dot height times scale, and this will make sense in a second. Let left equal to width divided by 2, and then minus w divided by 2. Let top equal the height divided by 2. And then minus h divided by 2. And we want to, we could put these in parentheses. This works just fine. And then context dot draw image. And this will be image ref dot current. We'll start at the left, we'll start the top, width, and height. So basically, whenever we are drawing these GIFs, the issue is that maybe they're too tall, maybe they're too wide. So we're going to scale them to fit inside of our canvas with black bars on them where they're needed. So that's what's going on there. Let's go ahead and import our use ref. So that's happy. And then canvas ref, we add an extra R, so that's fine. That's looking good. So that's what's slightly different about this. And then finally, we'll say const play pause is equal to an e react.mouse event, and this not event handler, just event, please. Thank you. And here we're going to say e.stop propagation, and then we're also going to go ahead and say set play gif, and this will be an arrow function, pass and play. We'll go ahead and say not play. There's just one more thing before we get to the HTML, which is a use effect. So use effect, and this is pretty simple as well. It's just going to freeze the GIF for us. We're going to watch for is GIF to be set. We're also going to watch for play GIF to be set, and then we're going to go ahead and say if not play GIF. So if the GIF is not supposed to be played, we're going to go ahead and freeze said GIF. And then let's go ahead and import our use effect. There we go. That looks good. So now that is everything to do with the GIFs, and I'm sure I messed something up, so hopefully it's not too bad. But now we're going to go ahead and say is GIF inside here. So if it's a GIF and not play GIF. So if this is the case, go ahead and another and. Let's go ahead and do the code for this. So here we'll have a div. It's going to be the same thing we did inside that other class or whatever function. Image src is equal to our message image. Ref will be equal to our image ref, and then this is going to be hidden so no one can see it. And then we'll have our canvas ref equal to canvas ref, and then that'll be it. So that's that. And then we'll also go ahead and come below here. We'll just check is GIF. So if it's a GIF, we're going to have some extra stuff as well. So now if it's a GIF, we'll go ahead and have a div with a class name equal to message dash conversation dash image dash GIF dash GIF dash controls. So we'll have some controls to play and pause to GIF and say it's a GIF. So here we'll have a div class name equal to message dash conversation dash image dash and then GIF dash control wrapper. If I could type, that'd be cool. I cannot type. And then here we're going to have a curly brace. So we're going to check to see if play GIF is true or false. If it is, we're going to grab the pause from material UI. We're going to say sx equal to, and we're going to have a color of white. And we're going to also go ahead and say font size, because I'm lazy, is 18px. Whoops, 18px. Cool, that looks good. And then otherwise, we'll have the play icon. So this is going to be play, I believe. Play arrow, actually. I can't get it to actually import. There we go. Play arrow for material UI sx equal to, once again, we'll have a color of white and a font, if I could type. I've been typing for too long, size of 18px. There we go. That looks good. Let it complain for a second. And then below this, we'll have a p tag with a class name equal to, and this will be message dash conversation dash image dash GIF and dash text. And here it's just going to say GIF. There we go. Save that. Now give it a second. I don't know why it's actually complaining. I think this got imported. There we go. Yep, that is all of the CSS for this. Again, it's going to be probably a longer episode, especially if something breaks. But let's go ahead and deal with the CSS, get this done, and then we'll be good to go, hopefully. Let's hop into the CSS for this guy, which I believe we imported. So start out, we'll have message dash conversation And I don't know if I think that's spelled right. I can't tell anymore. Conversation image. So here, width will be 275, 75 px. We'll have a height of 155 px. We'll have a border dash radius of 12 px. This is just eyeballing it. Border of none. We'll say box dash shadow. So this is just a box shadow I've been using, RGBA, and this is 0, 0, 0, 0.2, and then we'll have 0 px, 5 px, and then 15 px. We'll have a background, dash color of black, just in case we have bars. We'll have a background dash, if I could type, that'd be cool, background position. I can't type, I'm sorry guys. This is going to be center. We'll have background repeat. And this is going to be no dash repeat. We're going to have background, if I could type, grab background size. This one is going to be contained because this is what Twitter uses for this one. We have a margin, my goodness, on the bottom of 2px. We're going to have a margin on the top of 2px. We're going to have a cursor of pointer, and we're going to have a position of relative, maybe. There we go. And then we have a couple more, and I'm assuming I messed something up there. We'll see. Message conversation, and I spelled conversation slightly different because I spelled conversation wrong up here. I thought I did, but I couldn't tell conversation. There we go. Message conversation. And then this one will be dash image dash gif controls. And inside our gif controls, we'll have a height of 20 px. We'll have a width of 60 px. We'll have a position of absolute. Then we'll have a bottom 8 px and a left of 12 px for a background color of RGBA 0, 0, 0, and this is going to be 0.3. We're going to have a border radius of 4 px. We'll have a display of flex. We'll justify content spaced evenly, and we'll also align items in the center. Next, we have our dot message dash conversation dash image slash gif dash control dash wrapper. Here we'll have a width of 20 px. If I could type, we'll have a height of 20 px. We'll have a display of flex, and we'll have a justify content in the center and align items in the center. Here we'll also have a dot message dash conversation image gif control wrapper colon hover. And then here we'll have a cursor pointer, and we'll also have a background dash color of RGBA, and this one will be 256, 256, 256, and then 0.1. And then we just have one more, which is the text. So this is almost done actually. Dot message dash conversation dash image dash gif dash text. Now, of course, I probably messed something up with all this typing. We'll see. Margin 0, and we'll say padding 0. We'll have a color of white, and we'll have a font dash size of 13 px, and that's good to go. Now we need to just go ahead and add this in to our conversation container. So let's hop into our conversation container. So now we just need to come down to where our messages are. We don't want conversation container, we want message container. There we go. So now we need to go, and I believe we do this right above here. We're gonna go ahead and say message dot message image, and we're gonna go ahead and say message conversation image, and message is equal to message. And then something else that I noticed is that you don't actually have to have a text content with your images. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this guy like so, in this, like that, and then we're gonna go ahead and say message dot message whoops, message text not equal to an empty string, and that. And we need to come down here to our other one, our gray one. And once again, what we're going to go ahead and do is, I believe we put it in here. We're going to go ahead and say message dot message image, and we'll have our message conversation image. Message is equal to message. And then we'll also go ahead and wrap the message gray as well. Let's go ahead and wrap this guy. And we can go ahead and do this, clean it up a little bit just to make it look pretty. And then here we'll go ahead and say message dot message text not equal to an empty string, and that, and save it. So now, fingers crossed, everything should work the way that we want. This episode is getting a little bit long, so I might have to split it in two, unfortunately. We'll see how it goes. But let's go ahead and hop into the front end and just see if it's working, or see if we have to debug anything. So now you can see that it looks like it's slightly off. Let me refresh. I might have broken something here. Yes, so the image is not quite working, so I'm guessing that the CSS isn't quite working. Let me just go ahead and check the CSS here. This is what I didn't want to have to do this morning, but it is what it is. Okay, so let me look what's going on with the CSS really quick, and then hopefully fix this really quick. And let's also just try a random GIF here. Okay, this is also slightly kind of big, and it's not no repeat. So it looks like I messed up the message conversation image. So let's go take a look at that. So this should be background image. Let's go ahead and put background image on that and save that and see if that helps anything. There we go. That looks much better. There we go. So it looks like I also forgot some stuff in here, because that should be color white. I don't know why it's looking so big, but maybe that is how it looks, because I did do the CSS the same. Let me just double check. So I just straight up forgot to put the color. No, there is color white on there. So that makes me wonder, did I spell something wrong? I did conversation image. Now let's go ahead and take a look. There we go. Looks much better. Cool. So this is how it should look. We have our emojis, we have our images, and then we also have our gifs. This also works on the other end, but I'm not going to waste my time showing you all that because we're already pretty long. I might be able to make this into one episode. We'll see, because it didn't really take all that long to get images, but also I don't want super short ones. So we'll see how editing goes. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Everything helps out here at the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully the audio is okay. Like I said at the beginning of either this episode or last episode, I'm tweaking things, so the audio might be a little bit weird. I'll try to edit it and make sure it sounds okay and everything. But as always, guys, if you do want to see what we start from absolute scratch, there is a playlist linked at the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Ethan on Uncoder. Have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.